Today I wanted to answer a question that was actually sent to me, but it's a scenario that comes up a lot with the clients that I work with. It's a very common scenario. It's a really good question, so I thought I would do that today. It's basically, the question was, I'm not hungry early in the day and then can't stop eating in the evening. I don't know what to do about it. So this comes up a lot, as I said. Very often people are ending up saying, I'm not hungry at all in the morning. I don't feel hungry. Sometimes you feel a bit nauseous in the morning, perhaps people feel, then still not that hungry. So think, well, if I don't need to have lunch, I might as well just not have much or go without. But then as you go into the afternoon and perhaps evening, perhaps you would have a meal in the evening, or perhaps even by the afternoon. Many people I find are really struggling with snacking and grazing constantly, and for some people it leads to binging. Some people, they will go to dinner, get to their dinner, have a good dinner, but then they will end up binging thereafter in the evening. So this is really, really common, and I hope that if this is you, let us know while you're watching, or if you're watching the replay. It's really nothing to be ashamed of. A lot of it is actually around our physiology and what we're doing to help ourselves. But obviously, there are a number of things that are contributing factors. Now, I don't know, the person who asked me this question, I don't know your exact situation, but so I'm going to answer as if, what comes up very regularly with people, as if yours is very similar. So another thing to mention, if you are doing time restricted eating, or otherwise known as intermittent fasting, and you are skipping meals early on in the day for the reason of trying to lose weight, or you feel that it's beneficial to you, but then you find yourself eating at the back end of the day, you're starving and eating a lot, then the same kind of thing could be going on here. And now the first step is to absolutely address the physiology. So we really want to work out what is going on with your physiology. And what is very common is that, in fact, your blood sugar regulation is not good, because you've hardly eaten anything earlier on in the day. As I've said, you've skipped breakfast perhaps, or just had a coffee, or something tiny, not having much lunch. Your blood sugar is going to be all over the place, and we want our blood sugar to be regulated throughout the day, and we can do this quite simply by the way we eat, and how we eat and when we eat. And so really, excuse me, we want to ensure that our blood sugar and our insulin that is released in reaction to the blood glucose, the glucose that we take in via food that goes into our blood, we want it to remain quite steady. And if we were looking at a sort of graph, rather than doing this. Now, when we are skipping meals, we're much more likely to have dysregulated blood sugar. So we really want to try and bring something in earlier on in the day. Now, I know for some people they say, but I'm really not hungry, I feel really sick, or, but I promise you, if you start with something small and eating to balance your blood sugar, so that is, having something with some fibre in it, having something with some protein in it, and so that you feel that satiation, you will actually begin to notice that your body starts to adapt. Now, I know for many people, they think, but if there is a fear around weight gain, which I know for many of you in this group there will be, that you might be saying, but Marcel, this is ridiculous. You're telling me to eat more at breakfast and lunch, and then I'm already eating loads at the end of the day. Surely that's going to impact my weight. Well, the answer is you will be changing your regulation of your whole system. So it doesn't work like that. And we do know that particularly if you are someone that ends up binging, that it's very much to do with this binge restrict cycle that I've already posted in the group. So if you think about the restriction, very often leads to the binging, or certainly constant eating or what you might perceive as overeating. So really, you want to try and regulate your blood sugar, and bringing in something earlier on in the day and making sure you're having a good lunch, and basically telling your body that it's going to expect when it's going to have this food. It's going to be fed more or less a similar time, in the morning and at lunchtime, and your body will respond to that. You will notice it change. I mean, people who I work with find it miraculous how their body changes and how they learn to adapt. Now, yes, there is a lot more work that goes into it around, a lot of work on appetite sensitivity, really understanding your hunger and satiety cues. A lot of work goes into that, because for many people who have been restricting and dieting, they have learned to override those cues over the years. It's quite very common indeed. So that has to be relearned. It's a skill we have to relearn. So that is another part of the picture. But also looking at habits, behaviour chains, what's going on emotionally in your life. There are so many other parts of the picture. But I think if you can start by putting in your earlier meals, even if you don't feel like a huge amount, start small, and your body and your metabolism will start to adjust and adapt. Now, I could talk a lot about metabolism, and perhaps that's one for a subject for next week or another time. So, but I think really to focus in on that. Now, I'd love to hear if anyone else is struggling with this. I'm sure that this lady who contacted me is not alone in this. So do let me know, and let's see how you feel. Let's see how you feel if you start to put in a little bit of a small something earlier on in the day and increase your lunch, even if you don't feel hungry. It's very common to not feel hungry, but then of course at the end of the day you are your body is saying, I need food, I'm going to do anything I can to get it, and I'm going to get any food I can. So do remember that, and let me know how you get on. I would love to hear, as I said, love to hear from you. Even just a little comment would be great, just to know that this is helpful. And any other questions that you have, it's really great to have questions from people, because everybody is struggling with the same things. So let me have your questions.